First of all, thank you to the AAS. This is the third of a bunch of wonderful conferences. I am so honored to be here, and thank you for all the work that you guys have done. Really appreciated. I am, which way do I go with this? I go that way. I am Dan McGlaun. I run Eclipse 2024. Eclipse2024.org. Many of you have visited it. If you have not, please do. I will give you a personal tour. I live in Clayton, Indiana, which is west of Indianapolis. I live in the path, so I'm going to watch the eclipse from my house. The 1869 eclipse, David, went over my city. I missed it. The 2153 eclipse goes over my house. And, you know, the hotels will not open their reservation systems yet. I'm really trying, but they won't do it. So some of the things, this is one of the posters. There are some things to pick up. I'm not doing a plug for my site right now. What I am going to do, but there's my eclipse simulator. It is getting a lot of traction. It's being used a lot by people to show the differences between the edge inside the path, outside the path. A lot of the things that we're trying to evangelize to all the communities and schools. But it's available at eclipse20simulator.solar as well. And it's going to live on past the eclipse. This is about what is next, what's coming up. And I've got a lot of requests from people. Hey, can you make it show the weather? And of course, we're gonna have clear skies on eclipse day. So there's no reason for me to even go to that effort, which would be formidable. Can you put like a fan that cools you down during totality? Because that's a great idea, right? Can you have crowd noise? Okay, fine. Can you do animals? Can you find the button? Can you do animals, insects, bird sounds? Okay, fine. Those are things that people have actually suggested to me, but things that I really do want to do with it, I want to get a 360-degree view so you can see the orange glow behind you. I want to introduce some double diamonds, which Michael's work has inspired greatly. If you aren't familiar with that, I'd suggest you check out his work, his flyovers. They're amazing. I'd like to make the projection a little better. I'd like to, because the 2027 eclipse goes pretty much right overhead in the Middle East, and we need to be able to show that. And I'm working right now on a new, completely from scratch method of analyzing the LRO, the LOLA data from NASA to get a better or more easily adaptable lunar limb profile that can be presented to a generation with TikTok attention span. That's kind of what we're looking for. And I've had to do a lot of work on the regular eclipse calculator. I do all my own calculations from scratch, my own Besselian elements, everything from the ephemerides. And so I'm really wanting to include that as something that's going forward. It would be nice to do some research on the solar radius. So Luca Quaglia is doing a lot of work on that. And we're kind of getting to the point where we're realizing ours' value isn't large enough. The oblateness of the sun, that's not going to really enter into a visual, but that's interesting research that's happening. And I'd like to find someone. I just had a milestone birthday, and I'm hoping to be here for the 2045 eclipse. But I'd like to find someone to become a mentee for the calculations that we do. So eclipse is moving forward. Everybody's talking about 2045. 2045, going to be in Disney World. It's the day after my 82nd birthday. I'm going to be in Disney World. Or I'm going to have a better view of it. We don't know. But Australia, Kate's going to talk about that. But I do want to just say, I'm sorry. Brisbane and then Sydney, back-to-back years. What the heck? Who ordered that? That's awesome. I can't even wait for that. I hope I get to see that. But I want to share an experience I had in 2012 here in Texas in Big Spring State Park. I almost didn't go on this trip, like the day before. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go, because it is all about the eclipse stories. It's about the personal things that we experience when we travel. And that's kind of a metaphor for life, right? You don't know what's going to happen when you go. You just go and the stories write themselves. And that's what we're all about. I was in Big Spring, and look where it's not at. It's not in the path. It's just beyond the path. But what happened with that, and I'm sorry I didn't have an HD camera with me, but I found a spot that I couldn't believe. This is sped up 8 times. Watch the beads on the horizon. Watch the beads at the top. I saw this with my own eyes, y'all. It's my video camera. Yeah. Yeah. It's on YouTube. Anyway, that's the coolest thing ever. So, but how do we predict when things are at the horizon? We have this thing called atmospheric refraction, where things below the horizon appear higher. And we can't really calculate it because you think about it, if you have 100 kilometers of sky above you, you've got like 1,000 kilometers of different layers of atmosphere, pressure gradients, temperature inversions, all these things that Snell's law notwithstanding, all the physics books say, well, in a clear air mass with no variability, it's a pretty complicated integral, let me tell you what. So how do we predict that? We can't really predict it, but what we can do, and I've made movies of, this is my animation, kind of simulator light, where I've added a refraction. So let's just watch what's going to happen. This is actually from Big Spring. This is my animation where we're running the exact same thing you just saw. And here comes the horizon. And this is also sped up and refraction is going to affect it. So what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to simulate that without going through a big explanation to people of, set your own refraction and hope? People are going to make plans. And I got lucky, but I don't want to be responsible. This, by the way, is the 8 times sped up version of the animation at a refraction that I thought was suitable. Check out how accurate, but math. So yeah, I mean, yeah, why not, right? Okay, 2045, everybody's talking. This is 2044. A beautiful sunrise eclipse on the northwest coast of Greenland. How can you fail? Grise Fjord, Resolute, Great Bear Lake, on down through Fort Nelson, Edmonton, Calgary, Medicine Hat, Swift Current. If 2024 is the Eastern, the Maritimes eclipse, this is Western Canada's eclipse. And I did check, and it's taken the domain greatcanadianeclipse.com. It's not available. I'm sorry. Check out where Dickinson, North Dakota is. And remember what happened with me in Big Spring. But this is a total eclipse. So what's going to happen? Well, just exactly what you think is going to happen. We're going to have totality, and then the sun is going to, and it's going to be beautiful, and the sun's going to set. So that's kind of cool if you're in Dickinson. But what if you're a little bit farther east, just a hair farther east? Wouldn't it be cool to see an eclipse where the sun set as a partial and then the corona burst over the horizon? Wouldn't that be cool? Wow. So 2044's got some stuff that we can take a look at. And I hope that everybody, this is one more view of that eclipse, and this is the last thing I have. I have an entire set of astronomy resources that are not public facing that I'm going to turn into an astronomy curriculum. All the things I wish I had visual when I was 10 and learning all this stuff. Really important. And this is my favorite. This is Make Your Own Eclipse, where you can set the lunar and solar, you can set the day so that the orientation of the Earth is correct. You can also change your view. And this is that shadow scraping out that weird path. And when you look at it like this and you realize there's the fundamental plane, and so the shadow is just kind of scraping across the Earth, you see why we get those weird shapes. And there's the shadow. You're looking right down the maw of the shadow, and you see it doing its 5.1 degree descending node thing. And I can turn it backwards and forwards and now you can see it kind of in a different. So this is Make Your Own Eclipse, but I can simulate any eclipse just with the very simple geometry of a cone and a sphere. And once again, math. So there's some links for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Truly appreciate it. I wish every one of you a cielo claro, ciel dégagé, and clear sky. Toda la información en nuestro sitio se ofrece también en español.